Have you heard of Coinbase or Robinhood or E-Trade or Ameritrade? Well, they make their money from you trading. Well, what if you could flip that model so that you earn fees when other people trade? I got this question on Twitter, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. So Sam, on your show today, you talked about earning fees being an LP, liquidity provider. Can you do a video going over how you set that up? Thanks. Yes, I can. Thank you for that. If you guys want to check out Twitter, link down below. We're going to get into Uniswap and how to provide liquidity. We're going to get into a resource from Uniswap that goes through a guide just like this video, but it is more word and screenshots, so you can check that out alongside with this video to help set up your LP position if that's what your prerogative is. We're also going to check out how you can get information from Uniswap, and then finally we're going to check out a calculator so you get an idea of what your fees might be. Pretty astonishing. You can earn 5 or 10% a month. Pretty great. So with that being said, let's get into the video. You guys should check out Sam_A_Stolt on Twitter. So if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out links down below or thetriggeredbrand.com, thetriggeredbrand.com. So let's get into this. LP. What is LP? Well, remember how I mentioned Robinhood or Ameritrade or E-Trade or Coinbase? Well, they make money when you trade. And with Uniswap, you can make money when other people trade. So instead of there being a fee every time you swap between one token and another token on Coinbase, and Coinbase gets all that money, you can provide the liquidity so somebody can swap from one thing to another, just like they do on Coinbase, except for instead of the fees going to Coinbase, the fees go to you. Now, how that works, right? So let's pull up an example here. Let's say that we want to swap from ETH to USDC, right? So we're going to put a $2,000 transaction here. And when we do this, there's a 0.3% fee that is paid as ETH, right? Because I'm going from ETH to USDC. Because remember this, because this is going to be part of it when we get into liquidity providing. Now, if you're going the other direction, the fee is paid in USDC. Now, if we switch this to, say, I don't know what any of these things are, based money, whatever the fuck this is. If you trade from USDC to whatever this thing is, then you're paying the fee in USDC. Again, if we switch it, if you're taking 10 of these things and you're switching them for USDC, you're swapping them for USDC, what you're doing is you're paying a fee in based or whatever. Now, when you're providing liquidity, you want to make sure that you're comfortable with holding either one of whatever A and B assets that you choose, because if you hold something like Base, and Base is a scam, I know nothing about Base, never heard of Base before, but if it's a scam, right, then what happens? Well, if I have something good in this hand and shitty in this hand, and I just say, hey guys, take whatever you want and put whatever you don't want here, what are people going to do? They're going to give you their shitty stuff and they're going to take your good stuff, right? And you're going to left with a pile of shit while everybody else is going to take your stuff. And that's effectively what happens if you do this with a scam token. Now, impermanent loss is like a opportunity cost from choosing to earn fees, right? Like you could choose to not earn fees and just hold a token, right? And that's your prerogative. Well, if you do choose to earn fees and you have A and B and they're both not scams, and you're okay with holding either token in full, meaning you're okay with holding all your assets in A or all your assets in B that you choose to put into this LP pool, then when you take a position in LP, you're choosing to earn fees. So that means that if asset B goes up by 10x and asset A goes up by 2x, what you're left with is asset A, not B, right? Because B, remember, you're putting your hands out here. You're like, I've got these two things. You can take whatever you like and give me whatever you don't like. And to do that, you get a fee, right? That's what liquidity providing is. That scares you, then don't fucking do this, right? Now, with that being said, going from a baseline to a 10x and then a 2x doesn't happen overnight. So it's just changing. You can just pull your money out. Also, you can use concentrated liquidity with Uniswap, which allows you to concentrate your position and limit any impermanent loss if that's what you want to do. Now, first of all, if you've never used Uniswap before, you gotta come over here, you gotta connect it to your wallet. So this is a wallet I don't use. We have connected now, right? And it's gonna say I don't have base in here or whatever the case is, or insufficient base balance, right? But if I had used a token that I did have in this wallet, wow, my computer is effing really slow right now. You get to see this 10 ETH for USDC, and then you get to see the fee down here. This is the gas fee of how much Ethereum charges. I don't know if my computer is so incredibly slow right now, so I don't know if it's going to pull it up. But this is the first step of understanding this. In order to set up a liquidity providing position, you come over to this tab here at the top called Pool. And when you do this, you come over to here and you click New Position. So we're gonna select this. I'm not gonna set one up right now because I don't have any assets in here. But say we're doing Hex here. We're gonna say ETH and Hex. Now, Uniswap has different pools that you can create based upon the fee charged in that pool, right? So they have 1% fee between ETH and Hex. They have a 0.3% fee between ETH and Hex, or a 0.05% fee between ETH and Hex, or 0.01% fee between ETH and Hex. Now, when you look at these, you may be tempted to go with the 0.3%. I was just super late because my computer's extremely slow. Or say the 1% because you're like, I want to earn more fees. Well, here's the thing. You don't necessarily know that is going to earn more fees. And one resource you can go to find out that information is this. This is info.uniswap.org. info.uniswap.org. And you can search, let's search for Hex here. You can search over here for Hex, all right? It tells you the price here. Scroll down here and this tells you the different pools, right? You're like, oh wow, there's a bunch of different pools. There's 10 different pools. It looks like there's multiple different pages of pools with Hex and another token. And if we search by 24-hour volume, what we can see over here above my head is that over the last 7 days, there was $75 million worth of volume, that's both buying and selling, in Hex in this group here, the 0.3%. Now, in the next pool with the most amount of volume is 0.3%. And that you can see the pool size, so TLV is the total value locked, how much assets are in each pool. All right, so you have the US dollar, USDC, and Hex. There's 19 million in that pool. ETH and Hex, there's 3.27 million, and you get to see 75 million turnover in the USDC Hex pool at the 0.3%. 22.5 million turnover, that's just trading back and forth, in the Hex ETH pool, right? So when we went back over here, and if we edited this, and we went to, say, the 1% pool here, well, how many people are in this pool? Well, you get to see right here that it's very concentrated. Let's come back over here. Let's go, this is the, which one is this? Hex ETH, right? So let's come over here. Hex ETH 1% pool. Well, if you look at this pool, there's $108,000 that has traded over the last 7 days, and there's $265,000 worth of Hex and ETH in this pool. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, you want a sufficient amount of volume in here so that you can earn fees. And the more volume there is trading back and forth, the more fees you earn. So if you are in a pool like that first pool that we just selected for 1%, it tells you here at the bottom 7% of these pairs between ETH and Hex are in this pool of the liquidity providing. Most of it is actually in this pool, the 0.3%. So when you take a look at this, I like to look at this to see where volume is, right? Because I would prefer a decent amount of volume and a lower TLV, right? This one, if you look at this, there's a lot of volume and a lower TLV. Right over here, there's a higher TLV, but also a much higher volume over here. So you can earn something in this. Now, if you look at this, it's lower, and I haven't tested this pool lot specifically. Maybe I should test it out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I should do a position in this pool, the 1%, and see if my shit fucking holds up to reality, right? Because maybe these, if you look at this position as I'm actually looking at this, let me show you guys what I'm seeing. What is this here, right? Let's pull this out of the way. What is this blue line and this blue line here? These are called range orders. We're not going to cover those here, but effectively this is going to be a range order or a very concentrated liquidity position. This one's for sure a range order. That tiny little line. You can Google range order or leave me a comment. I can make a separate video about it. Well, there's $265,000 of liquidity in this pool, Hex, ETH, 1%, right? But if you look at this, almost all, or a decent portion of this liquidity is not even at the market price. This white little line here is where the market price is. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if you were to supply liquidity to this pool, then you earn higher fees because there's some money that's in there that is not earning fees, i.e. this tall portion right here and this tall portion right here. Well, and then obviously basically anything not at the price at where this line is. Anything outside of this line is not going to be earning fees. So you could go in here and potentially earn higher than normal fees. By the way, I'm going to probably, after literally making this video and seeing this, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to test this out maybe tomorrow. So if you want to see those results, ask me in the comments. Let's get into a resource where you can learn more about this stuff. If you just literally Google Uniswap Liquidity Providing and click on that, I think it was the first link there, right? This is help.uniswap.org for articles here. This is awesome. You can read through this and understand a lot more information about liquidity providing. It's got 5 little steps here, kind of going into what I'm talking about, but just in word form. This is info.uniswap.org. And finally, this is the fun part, right? This is the calculator. So let's pick this up here. Let's do Hex and see here what the calculator says in terms of fees we'll earn on this. Okay. Let's say $10,000 position, that's this right here. On a $10,000 position with this liquidity, or this range, that's these green lines here are the ranges that you're willing to trade between. You're going to earn about 45 bucks every 24 hours, or about 13.5% per month. This is a monthly rate, 13.5% per month. Okay, let's talk about a couple things here. This is the same data, right? I think they're just using an API to pull from here, right? The other one, this other position doesn't show up for some reason on here. Maybe this only pulls like 3 or 4 times a day or something. But this is effectively where the position is. Maybe I'll actually do this after I finish this video and see if there's enough trading volume on here to actually make this worthwhile. But if you go through and look at this, these are pretty big returns. But let's check and see what this one is like. Right? We didn't change the range at all, which we'll talk about in a second. $10,000, 78, right? You can see this one is more concentrated right here. So this actually has a higher 24% monthly return. Think about this, guys. 23.5% monthly returns. 23+% monthly. Think about that. That's over 250% annually. You double your money more than once. And this does not include compounding. So, these ranges. What are these ranges? Everything in liquidity providing is a ratio. That means you're not thinking in terms of dollars, and you're not putting 50% in one and 50% in the other. It depends on what your range is. So here, the minimum amount that you're willing to trade your hex for ETH is 27,285 hex for 1 ETH. The maximum is 39,299 hex per ETH. Right? So if the pink line slides outside of here, right, then what does that mean? That means that you have all ETH, my friend. And if it goes in the other direction, out here, the pink line is now outside of your range, you have all hex. So what happens then? Well, you're just effed, right? Bye, end of video. No, what ends up happening is you collect your fees and you reset your position if that's what you want to do, right? So you would come over here if this was where you were at. If you click on pools, your NF, it will show a position here. This would be filled with a position here, and you click on it, it would say in range or out of range. In the case right here, it would say out of range, right? And it would say out of range. You click on that position, it opens up, and then it has two things at the top you can do. You can increase liquidity or remove liquidity, and then there's another button halfway down that looks like this blue button, and it says claim. So if you have this happen, what do? Sit there and cry and stick your thumb up your butt. Now, you go through and you remove all your liquidity. If you wanted to open up this position again, you remove all your liquidity. Remember, you're all in hex. Now, you need to convert some of this hex to ETH to set up a new position. So how I like to do this is, say this is back here where it was, right? And I wanted to actually put this range at 38.5, and I wanted to put this one at 28,000, right? So this is here, 38.5, and this is 28,000. This is the range that I wanted to earn fees between. I could make it even smaller if I wanted to, right? And then that increases the fees. $100 a day, right? Life-changing for a lot of people. Now, how do I use this? Well, we just saw that if the price is outside of here, if the price is outside of here, we have 166,630 hex, okay? But this is where it really is, right? So we're resetting our position right now. Now, we have all hex in our MetaMask. We need, based upon the range that we're choosing, 28,000 and 37,000, that's these numbers right here and right here. What do we need to do? We need to convert some of our 166,630 hex to ETH, right? Well, we need to leave 64,800 hex. So we take 166, blah, 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 minus this and convert that to ETH. Then we have the amount that we need, 3.26 roughly. And remember, the $10,000 is going to be fees. So say that stayed in there for 2 days and you were earning 80 bucks, right? So you earned 80 bucks day one, 80 bucks day two, but then you paid $5 in ETH fees. So you have 160 minus 5 minus the transaction fee to swap between these two and reset this position up. Maybe 10 bucks, maybe 15, depending on what's going on in the market, maybe 40. Like, it really varies depending on how congested the network is. And you open your position up again, right? So you have all ETH, you swap some into you have all hex, you swap some into ETH, now you have hex and ETH, and you go back through again in this thing, you click this, click new position, and you set your shit up again. That's all you do when shit goes outside of this range. So, now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you press that thumbs up icon, take a second, share with somebody else, read through this, hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions, Sam_A_Stolt. There's a link down below if you have any questions. Check out my Instagram. Check out the show, 11 a.m. EST, right here on this channel. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.